Chinese military officials have told their U.S. counterparts that Beijing, quote, will never compromise on the issue of Taiwan. The two sides have wrapped up their first face-to-face meeting since January 2020, resuming policy coordination talks meant to take place every year. China urged the U.S. to stop arming Taiwan, which is holding elections this week. Beijing sees the island as its territory and wants a reunification by force, if that's necessary. It has been stepping up military pressure on Taiwan, sending planes and vessels near the island almost daily. Washington, meanwhile, reaffirmed its calls for peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait and restated America's commitment to its one China policy. Chinese officials also urged the U.S. to reduce military deployment and, quote, provocative action in the disputed South China Sea. They say Washington must stop supporting violations by individual countries. The Chinese Coast Guard has had multiple run-ins with Philippine vessels in recent months. Manila has held drills with allies like the United States to fortify its position. The Pentagon is maintaining its stance, saying the U.S. will continue to fly and sail responsibly wherever international law allows. And for more, Olivia Xiong joins us live from Beijing. Olivia, the two sides, that's US and China, still holding firm on these issues of long-standing contention. But the resumption of military talks in themselves, is that significant?
Well, Wei Su, these in-person military talks are being viewed as helping to move the China-US relationship at least towards a more positive direction. If you recall, such talks had been frozen because China was angered by then U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan back in 2022. And now these talks that are being resumed come after that meeting between the top leaders of the two countries in California in November last year, where they agreed that these talks would resume. There was also a virtual meeting between military officials from the two countries just 3 weeks ago. But it is clear, if we were to look through the public statements from both sides after this meeting, that differences in core issues still remain and can't seem to be resolved. We note that China said that while it was willing to pursue healthy military ties, this had to be done on, quote, the basis of equality and respect, calling on the U.S. to address its concerns. And we saw there that China had warned the U.S. that it will never compromise on the issue of Taiwan, also bringing up another point of tension with regard to the South China Sea. The U.S., on its part, however, has highlighted the importance of maintaining military-to-military dialogue and communication to prevent what it says is potentially dangerous miscalculations, but also emphasize that it will continue to operate where international law allows, also calling out what it says it was repeated Chinese harassment against lawfully operating Philippine vessels in the South China Sea. Still, observers are saying that in spite of these differences, it's better that both sides are talking and that there could be room for more dialogue to happen. We saw reports that a potential meeting between the two defense ministers are also being talked about by the two countries.
Olivia, as you mentioned, of those two core issues, Taiwan, certainly one of them, upcoming elections magnifying tensions. The island's residents still debating China's motives in launching a satellite over their airspace yesterday. Has Beijing given an official comment on that?
Wei Su, cross-strait ties have been in key focus during this Taiwan election as the ruling DPP in Taiwan and Beijing officials have traded words and accusations during this campaigning period. Today, we heard from China's foreign ministry saying that the DPP was creating panic after the Taiwanese authorities issued that national emergency alert over a satellite being launched by the mainland yesterday. An English part of that message had said that it was a missile flying over Taiwan airspace, even though Taiwanese authorities then later clarified that this was a mistranslation. But remember that Beijing has accused the DPP of hyping the mainland threat for electoral gain, while the DPP has accused Beijing of interfering in the election. And there's also been anger over what Beijing sees as provocation by the U.S., as it has said before. China has said before that the issue of Taiwan remains the first red line in China-U.S. relations. And we saw that Beijing was angered again today as Taiwan's de facto ambassador to the U.S. met the U.S. House Speaker, China saying that the U.S. lawmakers have to stop sending the wrong signals to Taiwan independence forces. Wei Su.
Thanks for that. Olivia Xiong reporting live to us there from Beijing.